Hello and welcome back to the Blazer Sim Racing AMSOIL Truck Series. Today we're here for race number 7 at Motorsport Arena Oschersleben, if I said that right, for the running of the Coulters Cards German Grand Prix. I'm Ryan Bogan, and joining me up here in the booth today will be Jonathan Parker and Rivers Jones. So we're coming in here for race number 7 and our first road course of the season. Last time we were at a road course in this league, you got to go all the way back to race number 11 of last season, where we went on to race at Lime Rock. Tristan Maher went on to win that race by 27 seconds over Ethan Fonseca. So, yeah, we're coming here to Oschersleben for this new track none of these drivers have ever really raced on. Of course, there's been a lot of practice sessions going up around, and these drivers have been practicing on their own. But we're gonna hand it down to Jonathan Parker, and just if you have any advice to give to these new drivers racing around this new circuit, what would that be?
Well, my goal would just be to stay on the racetrack. That's usually my goal, especially when I'm going to a new road course. Well, you're not really learning if you're in the grass, so just try and stay on track. But if you're Michael Kruger, Cameron Caldwell, one of these guys who's a heavy hitter at a road course, you're gonna be very aggressive and maybe be willing to take more chances. It looks kind of like a complex road course, but it seems pretty simple compared to some tracks with some more elevation change. So I think those guys that are the heavy hitters are going to be real favorites this time around.
Of course, we usually come to these road courses and we have our main road course guys like Michael Kruger. He's usually up here running up front. Cameron Caldwell as well. But then you got some people who are still kind of learning in the back and maybe could be fast later. I mean, we've seen Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in that 00. He's been pretty quick here at these road courses. Of course, I'm not really sure what Steven Maggio has here, but he's usually pretty quick at any track you give him. So maybe he'll be up front running here. I'm gonna hand it over to Rivers Jones. Rivers, what do you think? What do you expect out of this race?
Well, I'm expecting a lot of chaos at the start. The start is where you're going to be able to make up as many positions as possible. That's like, like after the start, everybody's going to get really spread out as, everybody's pace is a little different, and, we'll see the guys up front start to pull away, and then others will fall off. So the start is going to be very chaotic, and then I would say as the race progresses, it's going to get a lot more strung out, and we're going to probably see less passing, and it'll be a lot calmer from then on.
Well, so of course last week we were off because of the Cup Series race at Daytona. Great race, by the way. But 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago we raced at USA International, where Steven Maggio picked up his first win of the season and his second of his career. But after that race, we were handing out some penalties left and right like candy. The 12 of Cameron Caldwell, he gets an EOL. Alonso Chicano, EOL plus drive-through. Same for Duncan Faw. Josh Coppernoll, EOL. Giovanni Klein suspended a race and EOL drive through next race. Jacob Locklear EOL drive through, and then the guy who's up in the booth with us, Rivers Jones, has been suspended for this race after his heinous acts at USA International.
Yeah, that wasn't great, but you know, we're back. We're commentating Oschersleben. I'm really excited to see this race. I think it'll be really entertaining.
So as practice should be coming to a close very shortly here, I'll pull up some graphics so we can see what's going on. Yeah, it's 20 seconds left in practice, and then we head to a 20-minute qualify. There's a bit of issues with the leaderboard. You just gotta let it tick around. But I believe, yeah, it's Cameron Caldwell leading right now with Kruger second, and then Sean Kassane third. As practice is going to finish up here, that's going to be your top three. Looks like about 20 drivers have entered into this event, but they can still join during qualifying.
And we mentioned Tristan Maher. He really dominated that last road course race. I don't see him connected yet, so he's got 10 minutes to get here.
And you'd really think that we would see Tristan Maher join this race, considering his road racing expertise, and how we would see him as one of the probably top three drivers who could challenge for the win today, beside Cameron Caldwell and Michael Kruger. So that's interesting that he's hasn't connected yet. But like you said, we got 10 minutes of qualifying ahead of us, and maybe he'll connect during that time.
And the reason I don't usually point stuff like that out is just I didn't see him take a provisional, and usually he's really rapid here. So
Right.
we'll figure that one out as we go. A little fun fact, turn 10 is called McDonald's. I just wanted to point that out. So I think I might call McDonald's at least one time during this broadcast.
Well, if I knew the track layout well, I would probably call these corners by their names, but this is the first time I've ever seen this racetrack, so I don't even know which corners we are. I just know there's 14 of them. So it takes about a minute and 30 to a minute 35 seconds to get around this racetrack. So you can get quite a few laps in for your qualifying run. Unless it's actually, I think it's still only a 2-lap qualify. But still, you got a lot of time to do those 2 laps. You just got to do them before that time runs out.
Yeah, it is a lot of time to just kind of calm down, get those nerves down, kind of understand the track layout.
Yeah, and understanding the track layout is a big challenge for these drivers. But if you do it multiple times, you'll eventually get it down. Like I mentioned before, there has been multiple practice sessions these guys have been opening up for these drivers, and I was actually invited by Alonso Gicano to one earlier today, and I told them I wasn't racing, so I didn't partake in that. But they did open one earlier today, and a few other times throughout these last 2 weeks. So there's been a lot of opportunities to get out here and practice, plus practice yourself, all by yourself on the racetrack. So I hope these drivers took the time out of these last 2 weeks to come out here and practice at this racetrack to get a feel for it and know where they're actually going.
Yeah, and I think one of the big keys of this race, and just it will just end up being who can keep their truck on the racetrack the best, you know? I mean, because if you don't really know where you're going or how to navigate this track, it's going to be a real difficulty for you, especially if you want to have a good finishing position. But the saying is, to finish first you must finish, and I think that a lot of drivers will You know, that's going to be their main goal, is staying on the racetrack.
Yeah, and you mentioned this earlier. Really, you gotta stay on track, but that's kind of covering the entirety of the 65 laps. The first lap is the most hectic, the most important. After that, you're almost always just kind of running your own race at these road courses. You just kind of really racing the track. You're not really racing anyone else. You're just trying not to make mistakes. So if you get past that first lap, you really should be set up to have a decent day.
So just shy of 5 minutes left in this qualifying. Right now it is Nathan Fuller out of about the 8 drivers who have set one lap. He currently holds the top spot. And of course, we know Cameron Caldwell, he's usually quick here. Same for Alonso Chicano. They're both usually up front, running top 10, top 5 at these road courses, but they both have EOL, so they're probably not even going to come out here and qualify unless they just want some practice. It's actually Alonso Chicano's out here currently qualifying. He's up in the 4th position, but Cameron Caldwell just now got on the racetrack.
His first time lap. Michael Kruger goes to the top of the board, by the way, so he's got a little something to chase.
Yeah, he looked pretty fast in practice. Looking to carry that momentum here in qualifying and for the rest of this race. I don't think he's found victory lane yet this season, so this could be a big opportunity for him to capture that checkered flag.
So far, he's on provisional pole by a significant margin, too, almost 4/10. That's a big gap to second place, Nathan Fuller. And as I say that, Alex Kerfan goes P2, only 2/10 off of Michael Kruger. So it's starting to tighten up a little bit more as qualifying goes on. But Michael Kruger's still top of the board.
And on his first time lap, Cameron Caldwell to the top of the board.
Flexing his muscle a little bit. We know he won't be able to really start on the pole since he's got that EOL, but he's showing the field that he's definitely one to be reckoned with today. Very quick lap from Cameron Caldwell.
Yeah, it's gonna be really tough to get that victory, having to do that drive through, especially just looking at this pit road. It looks like kind of long and slow pit road, so it's gonna lose you a lot of time. But with his pace, he should definitely be able to get back up to the top 10, maybe even the top 5.
Absolutely, and I think one of the most entertaining aspects of this race will end up being watching Cameron Caldwell fight throughout the field. He's got a big task ahead of him trying to pass all those cars to get back up to the front, but I think if anybody can do it, it's Cameron Caldwell.
Yeah, it's obviously not fun for him, like you said, very, very fun for us.
Yeah.
So far, 13 drivers have set at least one lap here out of our 20. Duncan Faw and Stephen Maggio, 2 drivers who haven't set laps yet. They're both out on the racetrack. Looks like they're going to be able to get 1 lap in. But everyone else better hurry up out there. Actually, I don't think anyone else is going to have time.
I don't know. I think it's be too late to come out at this point.
Here comes Levi pulling.
Stephen Maggio, actually, I think validated both of his laps. I don't know if they was just looking for practice or he just got off tracks, but he won't be able to set a time in this session.
That's unfortunate for him.
So here comes Duncan Faw out of the final corner. I don't know if this is a time lapse or not. Doesn't look like it. Oh, no, it was. It's going to get him 12th fastest so far with a 133.428. Sean jumps up to 2nd on the grid, right behind Cameron Caldwell, so...
Ooh, man, that's close.
That's a good lap.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to be the control car on this restart or if it's going to be Kruger. But obviously Kruger's going to move up to the front row.
good lap by Sean Cassane, who's close to knocking Caldwell off of the pole. About what? That would be 500ths, half a tenth off. So out of road course like Oschersleben, half a tenth is nothing. Honestly, that's really close.
Yeah,
Close times.
that could just be a slight lockup. That could be anything.
Right, that's like getting a little more rotation in any of these corners. I mean, that's very close times.
As I don't think, no one else is going to be able to set a lap here. As Nathan Lehman, the only one out on the racetrack with 30 seconds left to go. So our field is basically set. We'll get into the lineup once these last 20 seconds are done.
I wanted to mention something that I thought was pretty interesting about tonight's race. We will have stage points awarded at the 25% mark, but we will not have a stage caution, I believe. So that's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, because past season or two, it's been timed races, so just, at that 25% mark there, they will award stage points. This, honestly, it makes more sense to me.
All right, well, practice is over. We'll head into the qualifying's over. We'll head into the race now, and we'll get to your starting lineup. So on the pole, we have, once it shows up here we go. We have Cameron Caldwell, which he has an EOL, so he's going to have to start in the back. Right beside him is Sean Cassane. Row number 2, we have Michael Kruger with Alex Kierfin on his outside. Row number 3, Nathan Fuller with Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. Row number 4, Cody McCorkle with Alonso Chicano. Remember, Chicano also has an EOL and drive-through. And then rounding out your top 10 will be Brett Bennett with Jacob Locklear.
Starting in row 6, we got Michael Walls and Duncan Fall. In row 7, we got Gabe Cazzola and William Kemp. Row 8, we've got Stephen Maggio and David Duran. Row 9, we got Levi Poland and Nathan Lehman. Rounding out the field is Shane O'Neill and Tyler Watermolen.
Well, unfortunately, Rivers won't be able to jump to you since we only have 20 cars in this field. But I guess we can jump to this. We'll head over to our picks. And I'm not going to go first this time, so I'm going to go with one of you. You guys can battle it out on who wants to pick first.
I would let Rivers go first. I mean, I'm here all the time.
All right, Rivers, you can go first.
Okay, I'm feeling a Michael Kruger win tonight. He is one of the faster cars in the field. Like we mentioned earlier, him and Caldwell, I think, are the fastest. And I think he'll be able to just pull away after Caldwell will go to the back, and he won't look back. I think he wins tonight, handedly.
I'm going to go with someone who isn't necessarily known for their road courses, but has gotten a lot better. I'm going to go with Alex Kerfan. I think he needs a win very much, and why not at a very unexpected place for him?
I was going to go with the 12 of Cameron Caldwell, but since he has the EOL, I don't know if he's going to be able to make his way all the way back up here unless we somehow get some cautions. So I think since he's been looking pretty quick this session in the practice, he was top 3 in practice and starts second tonight. I'm going to go with that one of Sean Cassane. I think he's going to get it done tonight.
I like that pick. I like that pick a lot. I think Sean could definitely challenge tonight. He was one of the faster cars in practice. I want to say he was 3rd in practice, and obviously we see he's starting on the front row. And I think he could definitely challenge tonight.
Of course, like we mentioned before, these road courses are usually timed, but this one is not timed. It's going to be 65 laps around this 2.3 mile circuit here at Oschersleben. As Michael Kruger, I believe, will be the control car. It could be Sean. Actually, it might be Sean, since Cameron Caldwell got the pole but had to go to the back. So this first lap is going to be pretty chaotic. And we'll see these drivers start to probably string out. And we usually don't have cautions at these events, but maybe if we see a big pileup, we might have a caution be thrown later in this event. But that's just usually doesn't really happen at these road courses.
Well, these road courses tend to be pretty clean, and I somewhat expect that, but I'm really curious to see how this first lap will go. I think that Cameron Caldwell would definitely be one of those people who'd want to see a big pileup, who would want to see a big caution. I mean, a big crash that would cause a caution because, you know, he needs that track position. I think that's his best bet to get up front.
So through the final set of corners, I believe the pace car is going to peel down pit road. We're ready for our first road course of the season here at Oschersleben. It's going to be Michael Kruger with Sean Kassane on the front row. And coming to the restart zone, we are green flag here at Oschersleben.
It was a good jump for Sean Kassane. He's going to get out the front here.
Nathan Fuller. Jeez.
Oh man, what a save!
Yeah, I don't know how. I don't know how he kept that thing straight, but we got a change for the lead here.
Michael Kruger, he's going to search the lead after Sean Kassane. It looks like made a mistake coming out of turn 3.
So Kruger in the lead now, about halfway through this first lap. Kassane's second, Kerfin third, and then Jurgensmeyer fourth. McCorkle rounds out your top 5. So far, so clean with all these drivers. Oh, never mind. We got David Duran spinning in the back. Looks like he's going to hold on to it. As they come through these little S's. And now Gabe Gazzola goes off the racetrack, and he might have had a little spin.
William Kemp went off track a little bit. We got, multiple cars going off track.
Oh, wow.
Alonso Chicano.
Alonso, Nathan Lehman, of course.
Lehman.
Alonso's going to have to pit here, I believe. Same for Duncan Faw. They both have a drive-through, and here they come. Actually, Alonso,
Alonso almost missed it.
Too. Man, that was close.
Here comes Locklear, too. He must have a drive-through.
First lap in the books. No wrecks, but we do have multiple drivers serving a drive-through here.
It's some chaos. And I incorrectly said that Cameron Caldwell also had a drive-through. He did, and he just had the EOL. But still a long way to go for him.
Yeah, and already up to 8th. He started, I believe, 14th. So already making some ground and working on Brett Bennett right now. So you see side by side behind them, that's Levi Poland with Steven Maggio.
I was watching Cameron on that first lap, and he was pretty aggressive getting track position on guys like Michael Walls. Really wasn't trying to waste any time. As soon as he got a nose, he sent it.
As they just wrecked for last, Duncan Faw and Jacob Locklear after having to serve their drive-throughs.
Third days just got even more long. Getting that drive-through on the first lap wasn't a death sentence, and then getting in a wreck with each other definitely might be.
Yeah, Cody McCorkle just went off the racetrack. Nathan Fuller got around him for that top 5 spot. Cameron Caldwell did get around Brett Bennett. Back up front, though, Michael Kruger has pulled a gap over Sean Kassane. Kassane has Kerfin right behind him.
Oh, Nathan Lehman locks up going into turn 1 Gave Cazzola gains a little ground on him, but not enough for Cazzola to be able to size up a move. Caldwell looking for P6. Cody McCorkle right in front of him. Caldwell's definitely looking sporty, and I think it's really impressive that he's been able to make it up to P7 right now.
Yeah, it's amazing. When he got in clean air, he just mowed down Cody McCorkle. I'm not sure he's really going to fight this. I'm not sure there's really any sense in that.
No. Caldwell at P6.
He might make us all look a little silly for not.
Yeah, he
not
might,
picking him.
man. Yeah, I mean, 65 laps. I mean, it doesn't sound like much, but these laps are so long, and the fact that he's already up to P6, that's really impressive. This stage in the race, and what, he's only less than 9 seconds behind the leader, Michael Kruger. So, I mean, it could honestly totally doable for Caldwell to get to the lead.
Hey, I'll explain why. Another reason why I didn't pick him is I picked him many times over his winless drought, and a lot of those times he had a great chance to win, and then he blamed me for it. he would get in a wreck or just have something stupid happen to him. So maybe this is a good omen for him.
Commentator's curse.
I'm telling you, I wasn't a believer until JCTV happened to me, basically. I was never a believer, and then every time Josh picks me, something stupid happens. So I'm a believer now, unfortunately.
Cameron Caldwell, I can't remember the last time he visited Victory Lane. He finished 6th at Lime Rock last season, which was our last time we were at a road course. But I know that race he was running up front most of the time. I don't know what happened to him at the end. But he likes to come out here to these road courses and really show like what he can do. Of course, he's one of our road course guys. He's usually runs up front at these events. And I know he probably wishes there were more road courses on the schedule. I believe this might be our only one. If not, we have 2 on the schedule. As a back here, David Duran just went around. He's not really having a good race. Oh, your leader!
Kruger's off!
No!
Sean Cassane's going to get around him, and maybe, not quite Alex Kerr fan, but he's going to be right on the tailgate of Michael Kruger.
Man, this top 3, they're really close, which is honestly pretty surprising. I thought they would be a little more spread out, but man, they're all within, like, you could throw a blanket over them.
Yeah,
Real close.
Kruger has to be a bit careful here. He's got a little bit of sand on his tires. But I think he's going to be fine. Just one mistake like that can cost you a lot. And it cost Kruger the lead in all that clean air he had. So we'll see if we can catch back up to Cassane here. As his top 3 is really just pulled away from the rest of the field. Jonathan Jerkesmeyer just all by himself in 4th. And then you have Nathan Lehman, who's being charged down by Cameron Caldwell to get into that top 5.
Yeah, I mean, and coming back to Cameron Caldwell, he can see the leaders. He can see them up there. It's looking more and more real of a possibility that Cameron Caldwell could go up there and take the lead.
Yeah, it's just, if he catches them, what are his tires going to look like compared to the leaders right now? They're all probably pushing, though, because they're all right next to each other, basically. So we'll see how tires fare.
Yeah, seeing how hard Michael Kruger was pushing with a 1-second lead that he had last lap until he made that mistake, I don't know how much they're really conserving. I think they're basically putting qualifying laps out there at this point.
Had Duncan Fall retire from the race, so he'll take home a P20. Not the day he was looking for.
Mississippi Missile is looking for a way around Brett Bennett. Just kind of right up on his tailgate right now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Brett's got a bit of a train behind him. He's got a little bit of Michael Walls, Stephen Maggio, and Levi Poland not too far behind either. So they're going to try to look for a way around this 6. Of course, like I mentioned, Stephen Maggio, your last race winner 2 weeks ago at USA, started in the back this race. And just looking to have a nice run here at Oschersleben. Currently has made up 5 positions.
So coming back to the Mississippi Missile, Michael Walls. Currently, he is our championship leader, but it's not a very big margin over second place Alex Kerfan. It's only 1 point. Only 1 point separates P1 and P2 in the championship. Right now, if things ended how they did, if things ended the way they are right now, then Kerfan would take the lead in the championship.
Oh, and looks like Sean just made the same mistake Kruger did.
Oh wow,
Oh,
yeah.
man.
Now he loses the lead and Kruger's back in it.
These guys are really just pressuring themselves real hard.
And I completely forgot to mention this, but this is the first race with that little bracket thing this league does. I'm not really sure who's in the bracket and who's battling who. Oh, here we go. So we got Michael Wallace versus Cameron Caldwell. Well, Micah better just say goodbye to that. Nathan
Micah,
Fuller.
take your L, dog.
Nathan Fuller versus Jonathan Jerkensmeyer. They are right close to each other. Cody McCorkle, Brett Bennett, they're battling too. Stephen Maggio, Gabe Gazzola, Justin Duran, Alonzo Gicano, David Duran, William Kemp. Kemp is here. He's 14th right now. Michael Kruger with Levi Poland, and then Alex Kerfin with Hunter McDivitt. The only driver that's not here on that list is Hunter McDivitt.
I don't think Justin Durant's here either. If I heard
Oh
his
wait,
name.
yeah, you're right. Justin Duran is not here. I looked. I saw Duran's name. I was like, I guess they're both here. But no, he did take a provisional. It's David Duran that's here. He's currently a minute 10 back. He's not had the start he wanted. But yeah, that's the bracket thing we do here, the mid-season bracket. So looks like whoever's facing Justin Duran, which is Alonso Chicano, he's gonna move on. And it looks like Alex Kerfin's also going to move on to the next round.
So this battle for the lead is honestly fascinating. They keep making mistakes. Both first and second, they just keep making mistakes. They keep trading mess ups. And at first, it looked like the 41 was really going to be able to stretch his lead because the 1 had made a mistake. But, I mean, the 41, he just made a mistake a couple corners ago, and that allowed the 1 truck of Sean Kassane to make that time back up.
As we got a battle for 5th heating up here, Cameron Caldwell has caught Nathan Fuller, and he was all over his back bumper a couple of corners ago. Lost a little bit of time, but he should be able to reel him back in here.
Yeah, that's one thing with the more trucks he passes, the tougher they're going to get. The quality of the speed of the trucks gets higher, just gets harder to make a pass, so he's got to really be strategic, excuse me, in how he sets up his pass.
As David Duran has entered pit road, looking to take 4 tires, so you fall a lap down to the leaders.
Got a battle for P8 heating up a little bit between the 6 truck of Brett Bennett and the 7 of Michael Walls. Michael Walls was right on top of the 6 car. And he's backed off a little bit, but now the 51 of Stephen Maggio is kind of getting that conversation too. Bennett's been able to hold these 2 up. And oh man, he makes a mistake right there. That allows Michael Walls to gain a little bit of time, but I imagine that knowing Micah, he's going to try to get past the 6 truck very soon.
Yeah, no. It is possible to set up moves here on road courses, but you got to time it right. And I don't think Michael Walls really has the patience for that, so we might see the 6th car get punted out of the way some point now or then.
Wouldn't be a surprise.
Yeah, usually,
Oh
you know.
man,
Oh,
we'll we'll wiggle out of
what did
Michael
you just
Walls. I'm sorry, I've got a piece of gum in my mouth.
Yeah, Michael Wallace is not very eh, he's a brute force type of guy, like kind of hammer in the screw instead of screw it in. And I think that's what he's trying to do right now.
And I mean, it's sometimes. I mean, it works. It works for him. I mean, he's got many wins on
Oh
the
yeah.
console games. He's got a few wins here in this league. He won back at Michigan. Wow, Phoenix earlier this season. So it works for him. This aggression he has.
Oh.
Back up to the lead. Michael Kruger has pulled away from Sean Kassane, and they've both pulled away from Alex Kerfin, who has just fallen back to third. We still got a battle back here. Cameron Caldwell still trying to chase down Nathan Fuller, but I think they're both catching Jonathan Jurgensmeyer in that double zero.
And maybe that might leave an opening for Cameron Caldwell. One thing I kind of noticed is that whenever he was in clean air, he was matching, if not faster than the leaders. But once he got stuck behind the 4 truck, he's just that. He can't really find a way by right now.
Of course, Fuller and Jurgensmeyer, they're battling in that bracket thing. So Fuller's going to try to catch him as he slips off the corner. And that's going to...
That's the mistake he needed.
Yeah. That's all Cameron needed. He gets around that 4, and now he's going to set his sights on Jonathan Jurgensmeyer.
So Caldwell had caught a couple seconds on Michael Kruger, the leader, but past couple laps he's lost some of that gap. He's fallen back to 8.5 seconds. So he could still go for the win, but like Jonathan Parker said earlier, the trucks are just gonna keep getting more and more difficult to pass as he climbs up the pylon.
There's a slight chance there'll be one exception to that, and that's his teammate up in third might cut him a break or two if Cameron Caldwell catches him, and Alex will just be like, "Hey, I'll give it to you, team owner."
Kruger's able to maintain his lead, but the 1 truck of Sean Kassane has been able to kind of keep up. You know, he's only about, I would say, like a second or so behind, and that's pretty close considering how far into the race we are. Oh man, we got a slow truck. Tyler Watermullen.
Watermelon, yeah.
He was just letting him by. Good move by him. Don't want to interfere with that battle.
So I just realized Michael Walls has fallen back to 12th. He must have went off track some point or another, but Brett Bennett got around, or Stephen Maggio got around Brett Bennett for that 8th spot. So I'm not so sure why Mike is all the way back here in 12th, but he's going to have to make up some ground now.
I just went and watched it, and the man lost talent. You fish better with my truck, please? Making JBM look bad.
Yeah, you're basically you're owner of the truck, and I made this paint scheme, so I want him to finish good in it as well. As David Durant says, he's crashed again.
Oh man, he's just having a rough night tonight.
If he really wants to, he can leave. He's, like I said, I believe he's battling Hunter McDivitt in this bracket, so he's got the win already.
Oh, and Micah Walls, he's going for a slide. Oh man, he saves it. What? That was a close call. He was he was sliding for how long before he actually went on the grass?
He's just out of control right now. That truck is not the way he wants it.
No.
Well, remember when I said he has a lot of aggression? Sometimes
Yeah.
sometimes, not sometimes, but a little bit more than sometimes it
Oh, and Brett
backfires.
Bennett. Brett Bennett just had a big moment.
Yeah, he's gonna lose a couple spots there.
Yeah, to Nathan Lehman and Levi Poland, and that'll be a battle for ninth. Lehman was all over the 72. Oh, and as I say that, he just slides coming out of the final corner, and it's going to lose a lot of the time that he just gained. Brett Bennett might try to make a move on him going into turn 1, but he's going to be a bit too far behind.
Cameron Caldwell underneath Jonathan Juergensmeyer. He's gonna complete the pass.
Real impressive drive from him so far.
Coming on to lap 14, I know in this league you get a lot of fuel in these trucks, but now that we're at this road course, I wonder how long they can actually go on this fuel tank or these tires.
Yeah, if it was Watkins Glen, I would know the ballpark, but I've never been to Germany myself, so I'm not really sure. But yeah, it's good that you mentioned that. And a lot of the leagues that we run and that you see here on JCTV, they limit the fuel tank size because we're running shorter races, but these are full-length truck races, so you get a full fuel tank, and that does affect the strategy a little bit.
So since stage points will be awarded at the around 25% mark, that puts us at lap 16. So we're only 2 laps away from that mark.
Now that Kruger's kind of settled down a bit, he's doing a really good job of just hitting his mark, doing what he expects of himself, which is just hit your marks and be perfect at these road courses. He's doing a good job of that now.
Oh wow, so it looks like we had an incident with Brett Bennett.
Oh goodness.
So coming out of the final turn on lap 13, he just goes a little too wide and gets in the gravel and spins right in front of Michael Walls. Doesn't hit anything, goes for a lazy spin. That'll cost him a significant amount of time on the track.
But luckily for him, I guess only one spot.
Yeah.
Gotta look at the positives.
So we got a lap car of William Kempt, who just had a little off-track experience right in front of Michael Kruger, or a little ways in front of Michael Kruger, but Kruger's going to have a bit of lap traffic to deal with now. Just one car, but we'll see how he fares here.
Oh. A wiggle from Michael Kruger.
Kruger gets by Kemp fine, and so does Sean Cassane. Thought Sean might have caught him in a bad spot, but no harm, no foul.
So Kruger is coming to 1 lap to go in the stage, and unlike other races, unlike races before, there won't be a stage caution, so they'll just keep going, but points will be awarded.
Well, Gabe Gazzola has come down pit road. Brett Bennett has went off the racetrack again. There's a lot of these drivers in the back having issues on their own. Still only one car out of this race, which was Duncan Faw. I think Shane O'Neill might have joined him. He's just on pit road chilling.
I believe you're correct.
Like you mentioned, this is the final lap in the stage. Currently, Michael Kruger is going to hold on to it. I hope we're right about lap 16 because I have a graphic for the stage results and I don't want to use it early or late. But we'll see here. I'll just use it now. I don't think much is going to change.
Coming back to Shane O'Neill, he's officially disconnected from the session, so he will be the second driver out of this event.
Yeah, coming through the final few corners, Michael Kruger is going to sail to this stage win. Looks like Sean Kassane's going to get second here. Kerfin's going to get third. There we go. Kerfin's going to get third. And Cameron Caldwell's on his back bumper, or close to his back bumper. He gets fourth. Jonathan Jurgensmeyer gets fifth. Nathan Fuller, sixth. Looks like Cody McCorkle is going to come around the corner to get seventh, as they're still finishing up their laps for this stage. Looks like Maggio's going to get 8th, and then Levi Pullen 9th. And Nathan Lehman's going to round out the top 10. Michael Walls right there in 11th, just couldn't quite get Lehman in time.
Looks like...
Oh, you go
ahead. Oh, okay. All right. So it looks like Nathan Fuller and William Kemp had a bit of a moment coming to the end of the stage. Looks like Kemp was trying to let the 4 truck by, and just really close call there. I just don't think he had a good view of Fuller. I think he might have been in his blind spot. Almost hit him. Nathan wasn't too happy about it, understandably.
Yeah, I was just gonna kind of point out Steven Maggio, how he's being very steady at this. You would know that he's just very new to iRacing with the way he kind of conducts himself, the way he races. He does a very good job, and he joined pretty late, so I'm going to assume he didn't have much practice, and he's just doing a great job of learning the track and getting the spots as they come.
Absolutely. He's doing an excellent race. He's doing all that he needs to do. He's just keeping it on track, minimizing the mistakes, and that's got him up to P8 so far.
So we got a battle for third heating up. Here comes Cameron Caldwell underneath Alex Kerfin, and Kerfin's going to tuck in behind him, so Cameron Caldwell up into the podium.
First and second have really stretched out their legs. Kruger leads Sean Kassane by 3.5 seconds, but then it's another 10 seconds back to Cameron Caldwell and Alex Kerfin. I'm sure that Caldwell would likely be up there, not for the EOL, having to really use his tires a lot more than the 1 and the 41 have had to. But still, what an impressive comeback for the 12.
Certainly, and he needs pit stops to get here very soon, so he can kind of get on equal footing.
Absolutely. I think that this next stint will really show us what the true speed from the 12 will be like. But this first stint has really been very impressive from the 12. He's been able to work his way up all the way to third, which is pretty crazy considering he started at back. But he definitely still has a shot at this. I'll run him off just yet.
Yeah, but I feel like these next drivers in front of him it's going to be really, really tough catching him. We saw Cameron, Sean, and Michael all trading positions in qualifying and practice. throughout those sessions. So it's definitely going to be really hard for this 12 car to catch him. He's 13. He's about 10 seconds back of Sean. He's about 13 seconds back of the race leader, Michael Kruger. But we'll see, like Parker mentioned, once they get on these new tires, we'll see who's going to come out the fastest. It looks like David Duran is just going to park it on pit lane, as he's been down there for quite a few laps.
That's totally understandable. He's got the matchup for the mid-season madness locked up, so honestly not a bad move by him.
And he got a couple spots out of it, and
Oh,
well, he's rolling again.
he is rolling.
No quit in this 24 team. I believe he's 3 or 4 laps down. Yeah, 4. But hey, maybe like William Kemp will leave, Tyler Watermelon, someone in the back will maybe leave, and he can gain more positions. We still have 45 laps to go in this event.
Yeah. And then I believe he's third in the standings, only 10 points behind Kerfan. So if he wants to, I would personally stay in just to, like you said, if somebody in the back leaves, just keep piling those points, and that'll get him closer to being in the fight, or back in the fight with Micah Walls and Alex Kerfan for the regular season championship.
So coming to 45 laps to go. Currently, Michael Kruger leading this event by about 4.5 seconds over Sean Cassane. And Cameron Caldwell back here in third, and he's actually going to come down pit road this time by.
It's interesting.
Very interesting.
He's going to try to undercut those drivers up front. Looks like he might be the only one down here.
Smart move from him. Try to undercut, gain some time on those fresh tires while the top two are still out on the old tires. But I wonder if that forces the top two to come in this time by. I mean, really curious to see.
Of course, Cameron has that first pit stall, so that's going to also kind of be an advantage for him coming out of pit road here. There's a nice 4-tire pit stop there, and he's out and away. Looks like he's going to get out right in front of Steven Maggio in 7th.
Solid stop for him. He's going to have to negotiate the pit exit, and he does.
So Kruger's going to stay out another lap. See what Sean does here. He's also going to stay out.
And with the gap they had over Cameron Caldwell, it's not a urgent thing that you got to pit, but you just got to keep that in mind for the next couple laps, so you don't get undercut.
Here comes 5th place driver Jonathan Jurgensmeyer down pit road now. As David Duran has spun once again.
Man, not the night he was looking for. It's a close call with him and Cody McCorkle. McCorkle almost got in the back of him after the 24 was trying to cover his truck. McCorkle's having a good night. Quiet night, but a good night. That's what you want. P6. Solid.
His jerk is out and away now, and he only lost 3 positions from pitting from 5th. Only one of those drivers in front of him have go down pit road, which was Cameron Caldwell. As Nathan Lehman, he's got a Michael Walls all over his back bumper. As here comes Michael Kruger down pit road. Sean's going to stay out another lap. So it looks like the pit window is going to be in between 20, we'll say 20 to 25 laps. You do get a bonus point for leading, but of course Sean, he hasn't really made a lot of starts this season. So he's pretty behind in points.
He's more just looking for wins right now.
Trophy hunting.
2-time winner last season at Richmond and Kansas. Looking for his 3rd tonight. As Kruger's out and away. Let's see, where is Cameron Caldwell? He just got onto that front straightaway, so he's still going to be...
Kruger in the grass. Sorry.
Oh, man.
Fine. He still gets out fine.
Sorry for cutting you off there, but yeah, this pit exit is not very straightforward. I saw Gabe Cazzola do the same thing in qualifying. He got out there and just overcooked and went into the grass. It's very easy to do.
It's tricky. Very tricky.
Usually no harm, no foul, but yeah, you'll lose some time. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see that that white line too. So I mean, it'd be very easy to overstep it and get a pit penalty for not merging correctly. It's a very difficult pit exit.
David Durant just went way off the racetrack. It looks like Cameron Caldwell gained about 3 seconds on Michael Kruger. So he's still pretty far back, but that undercut looks like it did play effect.
Ooh. Excuse me, I just saw David Duran go for a long lockup.
Yeah, he locked up a few corners ago too. Went way off the racetrack. I thought he was going into the tire barrier, but yeah, that 24 is not really doing him right tonight. He's currently running 18th, about 5 laps down. He is a one-time winner this season, though. He won back at Daytona after a photo finish with Alex Kerfin, but Kerfin went below the double yellow. So Duran picked up the win. And I believe that's his only win of the season so far, but it's still one more than he can say about most of us.
And he's had a very good season, too. Like I said, he said 3rd in points. He's had a pretty consistent season even outside of Daytona. It's just, he kind of knew that for him, these road courses would be a struggle for him. So I would say he's doing a pretty good job mitigating it, because he could have easily just said, I'm not racing, and then, you know, he got the provisional points, and then that's it. But he's picking up a few extra points.
Top 3 cars still yet to pit. Sean Cassane, Alex Kerfan, and oh wait, no, as I say that, Kerfan comes into the pits. And I'm trying to see. Yeah, Kerfan comes in the pits there. But the leader, Sean Cassane, he's still staying out.
So Sean's playing a pretty risky game here, staying out way a few more laps over Michael Kruger. Of course, I believe he was 4 seconds back when Michael Kruger pitted. So if the undercut's going to work here for Kruger, he's going to pull away even further. But Cassane will have the best tires out of the top 3 leaders. So we'll just see how this all plays out as Kerfin's out right in front of Stephen Maggio. And Brett Bennett went off the racetrack, but he's rejoined. Sean's going to stay out for another lap.
It's a really interesting strategy.
Yeah, I think he's just running the tank dry at this point.
Yeah. I'm just wondering what the fuel situation is going to be at for the end of the race. Because, like Ryan said a couple minutes ago, our pit window is around 20 to 25 laps. So you would think that would just be a clean two-stop. Sean definitely still has to pit another time after this. After this upcoming pit stop that he's gonna have to make pretty soon, we think.
He would have to make it to about 32 or 33 in order to one-stop it, which I don't see him doing. So
Yeah.
kind of into thirds would be about lap 2021. So
Right, which is what a majority of this field has done so far. Nathan Fuller, he's playing a similar game to Sean. He's still out on the track. He's in P2 right now. Sean stays out for another lap.
Well, this might help Cameron Caldwell. He might be able to undercut that one car to get up to second.
Yeah.
So I believe he's about 34, 35 seconds back of Sean right now.
I think it's going to be really difficult for Cameron Caldwell to catch 41 Michael Kruger. 14 seconds back right now. That's a pretty large gap. It's only getting bigger, fortunately for Cameron.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be tough, especially when Kruger pitted about 2 laps after Cameron pitted. So we'll just have to see what happens by the end of this race. Right now, that 41's looking in the best shape to find that checkered flag.
68 lets him by. Sean stays out for another lap. Man,
And maybe he's trying to make it to lap 32.
maybe. I mean, it seems like it might be possible. I don't really know why else he would be staying out this long. I'm just curious what made Sean think that he could do the strategy and not other people, you know? Maybe they just thought it wasn't possible. And maybe
very
it isn't.
intriguing.
I don't know.
Well, we saw him falling off from Kerfin. I thought it was maybe it could have been him saving a little bit of gas. Thought it was just him kind of falling off, and not Kerfin, I meant Kruger, falling off of Kruger. But I don't know. He's got to make it about a few more laps till he gets that mark of 1 pit stop.
Yeah. Michael Kruger has almost caught Nathan Fuller. Nathan Fuller, we know he's on that same strategy that Sean is. Stretching it very long. But Kruger will probably pass him pretty imminently as Sean stays out for another lap. That'll put him 29 laps on 1 tank.
And if Sean is going for the one stopper, I wonder if it's even going to work out for him. Because, of course, we know all these other drivers still have another pit stop. But Kruger has caught Sean by a lot here. He's only 20 seconds back. And with Sean pitting now, he's going to have to keep it smooth and still save on his next stint. It's definitely going to be interesting by the end here. But we'll just have to see if he makes it to 32 or 33.
Yeah, that's a tall task ahead of the one car. Oh. And Michael Kruger was able to get by Nathan Fuller, so Kruger moves up to P2. Who has already made a pit stop, and Fuller has not. So I assume we'll probably see Fuller pit soon. You'd think soon. We were thinking that he would pit soon, multiple laps ago, but clearly hasn't.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll need to see. Looks like car is getting pretty difficult to handle for Sean. Saw him sliding there, but he stays out another lap.
Now, if he can make it to lap 32, I think he's gonna look pretty smart.
Yeah.
Personally.
So coming up to 35 laps to go. We'll see if Sean can make it around this track 2 more times to make himself on this one-stop strategy.
I think it's honestly a smart call by him. I don't think anybody in this field could really challenge Michael Kruger on raw speed. So doing this alternate strategy, I think is definitely a good call.
Yeah, and no, he's not here really for points. It's win or bust. So
Absolutely.
if he was just gonna sit there and follow Michael Kruger, what was he gonna do the rest of the race? Just follow
Right.
him.
Yeah, there's
So-
really no point in doing that, given the situation. So why not go for it? Why not go for the risky strategy? Doesn't really have any consequences if it doesn't work out. Oh, as he locks up going into turn 2.
So Nathan Fuller is going to try that same strategy. I don't know if it's going to work as good for him, as he's already passed by Michael Kruger and Cameron Caldwell. He's not too far behind him. So far, not really much action happening out on the racetrack. Stephen Maggio is closing in on Cody McCorkle for that 7th spot. But everyone else kind of spread apart. There's a few trucks going just a lap down. Brett Bennett, Jacob Locklear.
I believe we had Brent Bennett drive through the grass.
Maggio does get around Cody McCorkle. You're entering turn 1 and 2.
Let's see, Sean Cassane pitted this time.
32.
Pits.
It's very intriguing. It's gonna be very close for him.
Very close. That's cutting it very, very close, I think.
I think he might have to do some saving in order to get there.
I don't know. Do I think he can make it? Yes. Do I think he can hold on for the win? I don't know. Because Michael Kruger is just about to pass him, and he's going to be really far behind this 41.
I would have
Right.
wanted to see one more lap out of him to be a lot more comfortable, honestly.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to get
'Cause
one
this
more lap out of
means-
Nathan Fuller. He's still out there on the racetrack.
Ooh. So if Sean Cassane is able to replicate what he did that first stint, that would put him at 64, which is one short of what he needs to make the finish. Grabs the grass a little bit on the pit exit. He makes it out relatively clean. Comes out in front of Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. Looks like we got a bit of a battle for 12th here between Brett Bennett and Levi Poland. Levi's been closing in a little bit. And it seems like Brett's been making some mistakes, so Poland might be able to pounce here as who's that pulling in? Nathan Fuller. He pulls in,
Yeah.
lap 32. Coming to 33. It's gonna be 33 that he makes a stop.
I think things play out really well. I think Nathan Fuller might be able to steal a podium position by the end of this.
Yeah,
It's totally possible.
for sure.
I don't think he's going to get up there to the win because he's already passed by Kruger and Caldwell, but he could definitely take third.
Yeah.
For sure. I could definitely see it.
So Poland was able to get by Brett Bennett, and now we're starting to see a bit of a train, similarly to what we saw earlier in the race. Got Alonso Chicano right behind the 6 truck of Brett Bennett, and then Michael Wall is not too far behind Chicano.
And it mounted that curve. Wow.
Then behind Micah is the 12 of Cameron Caldwell, but he's a lap ahead as we see Brett Bennett.
On pit road, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Michael Wall is all over the 25. Jacob Wildclear also pit. He's on the same lap as Brett Bennett. Oh. Ooh, looks like we had a little incident coming out of the pits with Tyler Watermullen and the 2 truck of Cody McCorkle. Looks like Cody was trying to pass the 68 on the pit exit and just got into the 68 right there. That wasn't for position either,
Yeah, it was
oddly enough.
very awkward indeed. I don't really know what the heck was going on.
Yeah. I don't know if the 2 truck just thought that 68 was a little too slow or might have misjudged it. Nathan Lehman coming down through road.
Yeah, Steven Maggio, Nathan Lehman, they're coming down for their first stops, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
So lap,
Not
it'll be
mistaken.
34. Yeah. It'll be 34 whenever they make their actual stop, since the pits are after the start-finish line, I believe. Kruger, commanding lead over second. 18 seconds. About.
And he's just been slowly pulling away. Oh, Sean is off the racetrack and
Oh,
around.
Oh, my goodness.
No.
In the final 2 corners.
Oh man, that'll.
It's really gonna
Sig-
hurt his strategy. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. That's unfortunate for him. I assume he was trying to make up just as much time as possible. Cameron Caldwell. And that's a really easy part of the track to lose the car from underneath you.
Yeah, we'll go back and take a look at what happened to Sean here.
JCTV replay.
JCTV replay. First time tonight. As yeah, just bit too hard through that second to final corner and around he went. Kept it off the walls though.
So, unfortunately for Cameron Caldwell, he's got like a significant amount of lap traffic ahead of him. Alonso Chicano, then Michael Walls, and then Gabe Piazzolla. All lap cars. Gabe Piazzolla is going to be nice here and let him by. They're going to go 3 wide briefly as Alonso lets the 12 by too at the same time.
I was about to say 2 of those drivers you really don't want to see in front of you.
No.
So only 9 cars on the lead lap. Michael Wall is rounding out your lead lap drivers right now. He's going to have a hard charging Stephen Maggio, who just came down pit road right behind him.
So as a result of that spin by Sean Cassane, that's going to lose him 2 spots to Jonathan Jurgensmeyer and Alex Kerfan. They're all pretty close to each other. Only a couple seconds separating them. I think strategy for Sean, I assume he has to do a significant amount of savings. So savings definitely high on the priority list, and then just keeping the truck on the track. Just trying to minimize mistakes, just keeping it clean. I think that'll help him with his one-stop strategy, since he's not making any more stops. He's got to go the rest of this race on current tire set that he's on.
And Sean's got a nice gap over Nathan Fuller, who's really battling. Of course, they were the 2 of the drivers that stayed out longer and trying to make this a one-stop strategy. Fuller did go a lap extra over Sean, so we'll see how that affects Sean. Plus, Sean had that spin, so I think that might kind of affect the fuel a little bit too. We'll just see as we have 29 laps to go. About to come to 28. As Sean went off the racetrack again.
Oh,
Oy vey.
man.
No spin this time. Gathers it back up. So looks like we might have a battle for... Yeah, it's pretty close with for third, Jonathan Jurgensmeyer and Alex Kerfan. Kerfan's about half second behind that 00.
Then Jurgensmeyer has Tyler Watermullen pretty close in front of him. Might slow him up a little bit here in that S's section. But he's going to be nice and let him by on the little straightaway here.
Yeah, Watermelon really not battling anybody around him. So he's just letting all these drivers by.
I'm sorry, that might have been Nathan Lehman. My apologies. Trucks look very similar.
I'll tell you what, Cameron Caldwell's in a bit of a sandwich right now. He's got Michael Walls, who's a bit slower in front of him, and then you got Stephen Maggio, who's got fresher tires behind Cameron.
Sandwich.
So he's got to play it safe here. He's not really going to lose or gain any positions, as he's got about 20 seconds to Michael Kruger, and then about 10 seconds from the driver behind him, which is Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. As Gabe Gazzola did jump the pit road a few laps ago, so he might be done. We're coming close to when Kruger came down pit road. He might want to stretch it out just a bit further, because this is a 65 lap race, is not a 60, so you can't just 20-20, you're good, as Nathan Lehman went off the racetrack back here.
This has just been such an impressive race driven by Michael Kruger. You know, he had a couple little minor mistakes that let Sean Cassagne get the lead, but ever since he took the lead back, he's really just been able to stretch it out. I mean, 22 seconds over P2, that's a big gap. That's a real big gap. So props to him. He's put on a great race today.
Reminds me of I think season 4 was when he won Watkins Glen. And he was just so dominant that day. It was either season 3 or season 4, and just when he gets in the zone and he's just clicking off laps and being as consistent as possible, it's just really hard to touch him at these road courses. There's only a select few who could do it. It's really impressive.
It's Alex Kerfin. He's down pit road for what's most likely going to be his final pit stop of the race. Maybe a little early, but we saw Sean go 32 laps, so I think Kerfin is fine. I think Nathan Lehman went off track again, but he's back going.
That shows you just how far the one truck pushed his stint. He only pitted, what, like 7 laps ago? And then 7 laps later, the 30's making a second pit stop, so he stretched it pretty far.
And you got to look at guys like Stephen Maggio, Nathan Lehman, too. They stretched it to 34, which was 2 laps. Yeah, 2 laps after this one. So I think they are just ultimately good to go. Sean is cutting it close, maybe Fuller too, but we'll have to see.
Sean seems to be pacing himself this run. He's not. I expect him to be running a little faster pace with those new tires, so I assume he is in some type of fuel conservation mode.
Goes wide a little bit again. Oh, he's gonna spin it.
Oh no!
Oh,
That's
yeah.
He looped it. He looped it all the way.
Well,
Yeah, I think that there goes his winning chances. They weren't gone already. That's unfortunate. Looks like that spot right there on the track, that spin is trouble spot. Turn 2.
yeah,
It's
definitely.
a very
Definitely
difficult
has.
set of corners too. Because you're having to brake, but you're also having to make a very quick left then right. And you're having to brake a lot for that right-hander, and it's easy to go wide like Sean just did. And now ultimately, that might be his downfall for this race.
Oh, we just had a crash. A big
Oh!
incident. Michael
Yeah,
Walls,
that's 3
Stephen
cars.
Maggio,
Ooh,
and Levi
ooh.
Poland.
Man,
Stephen looks like
That's
he's
it.
got a bit of damage.
that's the biggest incident we've seen all night.
Go back and take a look
And-
at that real quick.
Right in front of
Oh,
Cameron Caldwell.
that's unfortunate.
Man.
As Micah's battling with Levi Poland. Poland gets loose down into Micah. I don't think Micah was... Nope, he just spins back up right into Stephen Maggio.
Yeah, Yeah, once he's in that grass locked up, he's trying to stay off the track. There's just nothing Micah
Yeah,
can do at that point.
that's a difficult spot for Micah because he's between a rock and hard place, kind of literally. He's either looking at going straight into that concrete wall or come back up the track. And
I didn't see this until just now. When he was rejoining, Micah was going down pit road.
Oh my goodness.
He and Jonathan Jurgensmeyer almost got together as Jurgensmeyer went down pit road.
As much
yeah,
as
that's just a
sorry, as
No,
much
go
as I
ahead.
hate to say it, it was probably a good thing for Micah to spin back up the racetrack because he was heading straight for a wall that was protruding
Absolutely.
out. That could have
It's
been
a-
really bad.
Yeah, it's a difficult spot to wreck because that concrete wall, it sticks out and it's angled kind of in the opposite direction of where the turns come in. Yeah, it was just an unfortunate incident.
Sean has hit 17X, so he's gonna
Oh no!
to hit a drive-through, which is just more salt in the wound for him. Michael Walls got there too at that last incident.
You know, I was looking around for that if we had X limits, but I didn't really see anybody say anything about it. I guess we do, which is
Oh, we do.
17, which we did have 17 last week at USA as well, or 2 weeks ago.
We did. Definitely did. That's unfortunate. I just feel so bad for Sean Kasayan. His race just really unraveled a lot this past couple laps.
It shows you can't beat yourself.
Oh, he left the
No.
race.
Oh,
That's a shame, but
that is a shame.
I know he'll learn from it. But
He will.
it's a tough
He's
way to
smart.
learn, I'll tell you.
It is. It is. Absolutely.
All right, well, that moves Nathan Fuller up into the 4th position. Remember, he's on that one-stop strategy, and he's about 50 seconds behind Michael Kruger, about 25 behind Caldwell. So I think he'll definitely jump that 12 when that 12 decides to pit. I'm seeing he's pitting now.
Oh yes, he is. Interesting. He's going for that that undercut
Did he?
again.
I think I could be wrong. He went a little wide. It looked like he was going a lot slower when he was coming into pit road. Trying to see if he has
Wait.
damage on that
Ooh.
left side.
He got in the grass a little bit. Oh, we got the wall too. Yeah,
He actually got that pretty good.
he did get it pretty good. He's got he's got maybe minor left front damage. I don't know if that'll hurt him a lot, but it's definitely caved in a little bit on that left front tire. When he'll come out, he'll be right in front of Kurpan.
Kerfin already came down pit road. So CD Fuller's got a nice gap over Cameron now.
Very interested to see if he can make that gap up in about 22 and a half laps.
Five cars on the lead lap right now. Those 5 are Michael Kruger, Nathan Fuller, Cameron Caldwell, Alex Kerfin, and Jonathan Jurgensmeyer. Everybody else, a lap down or more. If you're rounding out the rest of your top 10, that's Cody McCorkle in the 2, Stephen Maggio in the 7, Alonso Chicano in the 25, Levi Poland 9th, and rounding out your top 10 is Nathan Lehman.
Believe that Michael Walls might have parked it for the night. He's been sitting on pit road for a decent amount of time.
Yeah, and I think it's 51 of Stephen Maggio. He is struggling right now. He just went off the racetrack, and now he's got Alonso Chicano on his back bumper. So you can see that tire is kind of poking out. Alonso!
Chicano.
Oh my goodness.
And he'll loop it around in the gravel.
Went for a long, long slide there.
Did.
As Levi Poland gets around him for position.
Looks like he might have just hit that curb and that upsetted the truck a lot, and it's very difficult to catch the car in that section of the track, and luckily he was able to lock it down, not hit anything or anyone. Doesn't lose any position either. No, wait, he did. He lost a spot to Levi Poland there.
Steven Maggio, he's coming down pit road. Remember, he was one of those drivers who made it to lap 34. I think Alonso's also coming in.
Yep.
He is. So just unfortunate for this 51 team who's got all that damage.
Yeah, I was just a victim of circumstance too. That incident happened. That incident with Levi Poland and the 7 of Michael Walls happened right in front of him, and Micah had nowhere to go, and Steven evidently did not have anywhere to go either. He got a pretty significant amount of damage on that right side. This will probably relegate him down to 11th, 12th maybe. Yeah, 12th. Might have parked it for the night. Or just getting damage done.
Damage repair, yeah.
Yeah. Very tough race tonight. It's a race of attrition. Has an endurance race feel to it.
So Kruger's
Alonso
probably,
should-
I'm sorry, Kruger's probably
Very good.
pretty close to his window, as he's already gone more laps than he did last time. But we've got 20 laps to go, so he can make it on field from here. And he's got a 50-second gap over Nathan Fuller. Levi Poland went around in the back here. Currently running 7th and is your biggest mover. Tied with Nathan Lehman. They've both gained 10 spots from where they started.
That's a
Very
really good
impressive.
rebound.
Yeah. Talk
Be a
about
solid
just being...
point
Oh,
day.
oops, sorry, you go.
No, you're good. I'm just saying that'll be a solid points day for both of them.
Yeah, they were just steady. We talked about Sean, how he kind of beat himself there over this past run that he did after he pit, and Levi and Nathan haven't really done that much. They've just stayed on track as much as possible and take the spots where they come.
Here comes your race leader, Michael Kruger, for his final stop. And I mentioned they might be the biggest mover as well. If you want to count Cameron Caldwell, he started 14th and is currently 3rd, so that's 11 spots gained. So he would. If you want to count him, he would be the biggest mover, but if you don't, it would be Levi Poland or Nathan Lehman.
Yeah, I'd say that counts.
Steven's finally out of pit road, currently 12th.
Wow, he must have had a significant amount of damage for him to make then. It was multiple minutes long. It seemed like Micah hit him pretty solidly on the right side. So checks out.
So Kruger out on the way and still has a 12-second gap over Nathan Fuller. As Fuller, he's got about a 5-second, or yeah, about a 5-6 second gap over Caldwell. And Alex Kerfen, he actually has Jonathan Jurgensmeyer on his back bumper for that 4th spot.
Ooh. Jurg was thinking about sending it up on the inside there. Might do it here.
Here he comes, looking to that left side on Alex Kerfin.
Difficult to put the power down. Kerfin's going to give him room, and he's going to go into the grass a little bit.
Ooh.
Jurgen's going to take the spot.
Yeah, this 0-0, he needs to go. He's battling Nathan Fuller, who's on that one-stop strategy in that mid-season bracket. So he's going to try to catch him. He's going to be a long way. He might have to hope for a Nathan Fuller to maybe run out of gas.
Oh, speaking of Nathan Fuller, he just went off the track, went into the gravel a little bit.
He's back going.
Yeah, don't think it cost him barely any time. It was funny timing.
Well, so out of that mid-season graphic, of course, Alonso Chicano and Alex Kerfin, they're going to move on. Michael Kruger looks like he's going to move on, battling with Levi Polin. Cameron Caldwell looks like he's going to move on, battling with Michael Walls. Nathan Fuller and Jonathan Jurgensmeyer, that battle's still probably up in the air. Cody McCorkle and Brett Bennett. Not really sure where they're at on the racetrack. Cody is currently 6th, and Brett is currently 11th. And then after those two, we got Stephen Maggio versus Gabe Cazzola. Cazzola has basically parked it, so Stephen will move on. And then you have David Duran versus William Kent. David Duran 6 laps down. Kent is 4 laps down, I believe. So there could still be maybe a little battle there. It's just David Duran's going to have to get a little bit of luck. Maybe that 09 will have some issues.
Levi Poland's coming down Pert Road.
His final stop of the night.
He'll forfeit a couple spots.
Cameron Caldwell has closed into about a second and a half on the 4 of Nathan Fuller. He's going to look to maybe get around him the next lap or two. Levi Pullen exits the pits. Looks like he's going to be just fine. Still in this... well, he just lost the top 10 to Brett Bennett, but I'm pretty sure he can easily get that position back.
That would be an interesting battle to follow. Pit exit, man, it's just so odd. You have to make a couple corners. It feels like you gotta make that left and then that hard right.
Cameron has closed in a lot on Nathan Fuller just that last lap.
Curious how much the 4 will fight him on this.
Yeah, you think with the fresher tires and different strategies, it just wouldn't quite really be worth it
No.
to fight super hard.
Yeah, 'cause
But we'll see how he
Fuller's
goes
on-
about it.
Yeah, Fuller's on 20 lap old tires. So, nope. Looks like the 4 is going to let him by.
So he does. So Cameron jumps to 2nd. And he's about 20 seconds back of the race leader of Michael Kruger right now. As Kruger just went off the racetrack a little bit there, but he's fine. Still holding on to it. Coming to 15 laps to go this time by. Michael Kruger has led most of the laps. Not all of them. As we saw Sean out there for a few laps. I think Nathan Fuller might have led a lap too. But all this 41 has to do is just keep it clean around this racetrack. He's got 21 seconds on Cameron Caldwell. And he's looking to get his first win of the season.
Yeah, my pre-race predictions, I was thinking about saying that Kruger would lead every single lap, but he has not.
Michael Walls just went way off the racetrack in that corner. We see a lot of drivers have trouble in. He's going to get... I don't think he was passed by anybody there.
Seems like that's the trouble spot. Got some air too. Hit them turtles and that really upset the car. And then got caught in the grass. And once you get caught in the grass, it's pretty difficult to get off of it and get back on the track. Yeah, turn 2 is just very difficult because you're having to turn and brake a lot at the same time. That leads to drivers trying to kind of cut the corner a little bit, save them a little time. Michael Walls, he's
I don't
bringing
know
the
what
car
he's
to a stop. I called the quits there.
He confuses me. I don't know if there's anything going on in his brain.
Yeah, that was an interesting move. Like we got a battle for 11th starting to heat up a little bit here. Brett Bennett and Stephen Maggio.
You see this?
No, excuse me.
This would be a really good battle.
my apologies. I looked and I saw that they were both 11th and 12th, so I was like, okay, they must be on the same lap. And they are not. Brett Bennett is 1 lap down and Stephen is 2. So, my apologies. I was incorrect there.
So what's the we know the pass-through limit is 17. What's the DQ limit of our drive-through for next race?
Well, concerning I'm the expert of reaching instant limits, I would pretty sure it's 25 that gets DQ'd.
I don't know if they're gonna like have some like free passes after this race because it is a road course, but I feel like a few of these drivers might have hit that limit tonight.
I'll be fair. Well, I guess this is me not really being fair. It's being more critical. I feel like this is a road course. Just looking at it, where it's actually pretty difficult to get off tracks.
Yeah,
that's just me.
Yeah, I compared to other tracks, I think the incident parameters are a little less strict, I guess. But I don't know. It seems like there's a decent amount of runoff. Most of the corners.
I feel like if you're getting off track here, you kind of not necessarily trying to, but you're really pushing the boundaries of what you're doing, is what it is.
Right, you're really overdriving the truck. If it would be different if it was a track like on the Coda.
Oh yeah,
that the incidents are kind of iffy.
It's not even close to what NASCAR allows. It doesn't really make sense. They should have a NASCAR version with NASCAR track limits.
That completely agreed. the track limits with NASCAR and then like open wheel, I feel like are completely different. Or at least they should be.
Then again, everyone has at least one X in this race, so I could be wrong in that assumption.
Yeah.
Tell you what, it's been a few laps, and Fuller has really only dropped 2 seconds behind Cameron Caldwell. So I don't know if he's really saving any more or not, or if we can make it. Next car
Also makes
behind
me
him.
wonder about.
Sorry.
Sorry. It's okay. It also makes me wonder about the damage to the left front of Kim Caldwell's truck, because I could see it on certain angles that left front's caved in pretty well, and that's a pretty important part of the truck for aero wise.
Absolutely. And he hit that wall like pretty decently too. Very deceiving pit entry. I feel like you kind of dive it in there, and that leads to drivers missing the line to get in there and get in the wall like Cameron did. It's one of the more peaceful truck races that I've seen. Feels like it's the complete opposite to USA a couple weeks ago. Where it felt like we're just having non-stop cautions. This is complete opposite.
Oh yeah, it's a complete 180.
You go to a short track where everybody's all bunched up together. It's gonna cause a little bit of more. It's gonna cause a lot more chaos than coming to a road course. I mean, the first lap at road courses, the first 2 laps, usually pretty chaotic under restarts, but then these drivers just are able to spread apart from each other. And
Especially not having any cautions
Yeah.
at these road courses.
Yeah, the incidents are few and far between, and whenever it is an incident, it's usually just somebody self-spinning. It's rare that we get a multiple car incident like long into the run, like we did earlier with Levi Poland, Stephen Maggio, and Michael Walls. It's pretty rare.
So 10 laps to go that time by. Kruger has a 26.5-second lead over Cameron Caldwell. He's got some lap traffic to deal with of Brett Bennett and Stephen Maggio. I think Maggio is pulling away though with a lot fresher tires. But he's still got that 6 of Brett Bennett. Which Brett is usually smart about this. He'll probably let him by. Looks like right here. Or maybe not.
This is just so interesting because Michael Kruger has been able to lap up to 5th to Alex Kerfan. It's crazy how the long run has made the field spread out. Excuse me. Lost the ability to talk there.
Well, last season at Lime Rock, Tristan Maher lapped everybody up to 2nd. So it was just him and Ethan on the lead lap. I don't think Kruger is going to be able to lap everybody here, but he might be able to pull a bigger gap than what Tristan Maher did on Ethan. Tristan Maher won about 27 seconds, and Kruger has a 26-second lead over Caldwell, and he's still got 9 laps to go.
I want to say Lime Rock was also a bit shorter of a track too.
Oh yeah, for sure. It felt like they're flying around that little track.
Oh yeah. This track seems like a lot more of like a Grand Prix-esque facility compared to Lime Rock, where It's less like maybe not open wheel, but it's a lot shorter and more club-like, I guess.
I'll say Lime Rock fit these trucks honestly more to me than uh, th- how do you say this track again? I'm sorry.
Oschersleben.
Yeah, it's no disrespect to anyone who likes this track. It just doesn't seem like it fits the NASCAR style to me, personally.
Well, apparently, NASCAR liked it because it's on the Truck Series schedule for next season.
That'll be nice. Well, another track for the Northeast in Connecticut. I don't know if they've ever had a race in Connecticut. I can't think of any off the top of my head.
I don't even. Is there even a racetrack in Connecticut?
Well, Lime Rock, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Lime Rock's in I did not
Yeah.
know where not Lime Rock was in Connecticut.
I don't think a lot of people knew where Lime Rock was before yesterday.
8 laps to go. Kruger has caught Steven Maggio trying to put him a lap down. A few more lap cars just in front of them. William Kemp, David Duran, Tyler Watermullen. Currently, David Duran, last car on the racetrack. Michael Wallace, Sean Kazane, Gabe Gazzola, Shane O'Neill, and Duncan Faw have pretty much all DNF'd as Brett Bennett has spun around.
Oops.
Oops, indeed.
Oopsie. That's what we call an oopsie daisy.
Watermullen gonna let them by, so does Maggio. Lap cars being pretty respectful this race.
I always like to see that. Kruger coming up on David Duran.
Levi Poland has gone around again. He loses his position to Jacob Locklear. And now he's going to be in the clutches of going 2 laps down. As Kruger comes to 7 laps to go. Puts David Duran another lap down.
Seems like the final corners and then the first few corners are the real trouble spots. So we just had Levi Poland go around the final corner and numerous other drivers, and then we had that one big incident going into the final corner with Michael Walls, Stephen Maggio, and Levi Poland. Then Sean Kazane had a couple moments in turn 2. Michael Walls earlier too. It makes sense because the final corner is a bit of a tricky one. It's pretty deceiving, honestly. It feels like you can press the throttle down way quicker than you actually can.
Mm-hmm. That's gotten a few drivers tonight. We've seen that where
Yeah.
honestly it looks like they're home free. They could just hit the gas and then they're going straight and they just spin
Yeah.
out. It's kind of wild.
It is. Caught a lot of people off guard.
So 6 laps to go this time by. Really no one is close to each other for position. As Nathan Fuller still holding his own. Still going to be interesting to see if he can make it on fuel. But he's got a big gap over Jonathan Jerkensmeyer, so if he needs to go into saving mode, he can. But everyone else on the racetrack kind of just far from each other for position.
It seems like Sean Kazane might have had a hard time from within the cockpit. Said his leg was cramping up real badly. I'm sure that
Ooh.
was a pain, especially at a road course like this. A lot of braking involved.
That would explain some of the mistakes, maybe, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. That would definitely do it. Leg cramps have got to be the worst, the worst thing ever.
And he really hasn't been racing much on iRacing recently. so it probably just wasn't really used to it, and especially coming to a road course you don't really know. That'll definitely happen. As Jurgensmeyer has gone off in that same corner, turn 2 or 3, and now that's allowed Kerfen to close back in.
Seems like drivers are losing control, are either losing control going into turn 2, or locking up real bad. That's probably my favorite part about this track, the turn 1 and 2. It's real difficult, very heavy braking zone. The rest of the track, you know, it's kind of feels like almost a formality, you know, just the way the track flows. There's not many places where driver's going to make a mistake there.
So Locklear is going to let Kruger by. Don't think Kruger has much lap traffic in front of him anymore. It's just nice, smooth sailing for this 41 team. Comes through these little S's with about 4.5 laps to go. Just needs to do that 4 more times to pick up the win.
Broken the half-minute barrier. Very impressive. He could spin a couple times and he'd still be ahead of the 12 truck. That's how big of a gap he has. Four laps to go in the race. And just for a little perspective of how big this gap that Michael Kruger has to P2. So he's going into turn 3 right now with the big sand pit. And Cameron Caldwell, he is about to hit the start-finish line right now to start 4 laps to go. That is just insane.
It's what you call dominance. It's just, you don't get too many of these too often, unless you're Ethan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. I wonder if like he feels like Ethan right now, if he feels like you at certain tracks, most tracks.
When I raced more.
Yeah, when you raced. I mean, it just must feel good coming out here and being able to dominate, especially on a road course like this.
Right, with ease too, because I mean he just outran the 12 truck by 0.8 that last lap. 0.8. It's pretty crazy. So let's see, this is coming to 3 to go right here. And Kruger is going to run a 32.9, so that was a pretty significant fall off. I don't know what happened there. Might have a moment. So he just hit the line, and then Caldwell's still multiple corners away from the start-finish line.
He still looks like he's pushing it a little bit. That was Caldwell. I was just kind of take it easy, or 30 seconds back.
Right.
Yeah. You can't turn that switch off as a race car driver.
No. Nathan Fuller's only 5 seconds behind. That's honestly pretty good, given his as he has a moment there. Given how much earlier he pitted. Because I mean he's on 30 lap old tires. He did the one-stop strategy that Sean Cassane tried to do as well.
Yeah, I thought he was going to be in like a lot more saving mode. But he really hasn't been. He's probably been saving a little bit, but not as much as I thought. So maybe he's got confidence he can make it these next 3 laps. He's got a big gap over Jurgensmeyer and Kerfen, so if he does need to go into a little bit more saving mode, he can do it.
I wonder how much he's saving just naturally running the track, you know, because you can save a decent amount, like just, you know, lifting a little bit before the corner here and there, you know. So I wonder if that adds up throughout the run. Two to go.
Yeah, him and Nathan Lehman, I believe, are the only two who have survived doing that one-stop strategy. Stephen Maggio, Sean Cassane, two other ones who have got caught up in wrecks, so they had to pit again. Nathan Lehman currently running 7th. 1 or 2 laps down. I believe it's just 1.
Oh, Levi pulling. Slide into turn 3, locked it up pretty good, but he keeps it coming straight. I think it's starting to get to the point where these drivers are like, all right, let's finish this race. I'm tired.
They've been out there for, besides practice and qualifying too, they've been out there for about 2 hours. It's almost striking 10 o'clock.
Yeah, this has really been an endurance race, it feels like. Very difficult. Very difficult on these drivers.
It's Michael Kruger. Oh, wow.
Man, that's a slide.
Coming around the final corner, he's going to see the white flag this time by. 1 lap to go for Michael Kruger here at Oschersleben.
There you go.
Yeah. I speak American. I don't know how to say it.
Yeah, good thing this is on a sim. 'Cause, it would be a lot of money to fly out here to Germany and move all these cars.
Yeah.
It's also, I believe, a free track, so it comes with iRacing, so no one had to spend money on it.
Yeah, that's always nice. I think that's also the deal with our second road course that we run later this season, Okayama, Japan. Kind of similar to this track in the flow and feel.
Through the little S's one more time. Around this little right-hander.
What a dominant race by Michael Kruger. This is the biggest butt kicking we've seen in a minute.
Yeah, 32.5 seconds from Cameron Caldwell. It's just one more lap car in front of him. That's Alonso Chicano. But Alonso's pretty respectful, so he'll probably let him by here. Or Kruger will keep him to go one more lap.
Yep.
Doesn't look like
man.
it.
Almost got him right there.
That's a team owner right there, by the way.
They're just both racing side by side. And out of the final corner, Michael Kruger is going to pick up his first win of the season here at Oschersleben.
Dominant race. Excellent race he ran. Very minimal amount of mistakes today. Great win by Michael Kruger.
Cameron's just now about to get into the final 2 corners.
That is just insane. That's a huge gap.
And he's going to come home second after getting that starting on pole, but getting that EOL.
Another very impressive race ran.
And right behind him, it works for Nathan Fuller. He's going to take a podium here at Oschersleben too.
And then in about 20 seconds, we'll get Jonathan Jurgensmeyer and Alex Kerfan.
It's going to round out all of your guys on the lead lap.
Pretty close. Yeah, this is the closest battle we had. Kind of the checkered.
Jerry's going to take 4th. Kerfan 5th. As you see Michael Kruger, there's the little graphic right there. He comes home, takes the checker flag in a dominating race here at Oschersleben. So he's probably going to come to the front straight away here to do a little bit of burnout. Steven giving him a little bit of a pump there. This looks like team owner Alonso Gicano going to stay out there as well. So Kruger comes onto the front stretch, and he's going to burn it down here.
You can tell he's pretty happy about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember the last time he was in victory lane. I remember he won New Hampshire last season. Well, that's about it.
Nothing better than seeing the JCTV car or truck win on JCTV, so how about that? I also got my pick right. I'm 1 for 1, guys.
Because you went first. No, just kidding. Great job.
So as Kruger continues to burn it down, we will look at the finishing results here tonight. So your race winner in dominating fashion, Michael Kruger. We still have the Season 5 logo up there for some reason. Cameron Caldwell second, 34 laps back. Nathan Fuller, his strategy works. He finishes on the podium in third. Jonathan Jerkesmeyer fourth. Alex Kerfin fifth, and that rounds out your drivers on the lead lap. Cody McCorkle sixth. Nathan Lehman seventh. Alonso Gicano eighth. Jacob Locklear ninth, and Levi Polin rounds out your top 10.
Come home. In 11th is Brett Bennett. 12th is Stephen Maggio. 13th is Tyler Watermolen. 14th is William Kemp. Ran out top 15 is David Durand, and I'll let Rivers get the rest of the top 20.
Michael Walls, P16. Sean Kassan had a really good run today. Unfortunately, the cars just didn't fall in his favor. He comes home P17. Gabe Cazzola, P18. Shane O'Neill in the 91, P19. And rounding out your field was Duncan Fall in P20.
Someone tell Michael Kruger he's doing unsafe acts right now, burning it down on pit lane. So we'll get to interviews here, as how we do interviews. Of course, we'll have Rivers interview Nathan, and then we'll have Parker interview second place Cameron Caldwell. But we will bring in Nathan Fuller to the booth, and Rivers, I'll let you take it from here.
All right. Nathan Fuller, you got a copy?
I've got a copy.
Awesome. So you were the only one who's really able to make that one-stop strategy work. Of course, there was Sean Kassan, who was also attempting that one-stop strategy, but unfortunately he just wasn't able to fall in his favor. How were you able to make that work? How was the one-stop so much better than the two-stop that you were able to gain all those positions and put yourself on the podium?
I mean, it's the start of the race was squirrely. Got a little bumper with Alex and lost a bunch of spots. So that's when I started, thinking about the strategy and everything. And I didn't actually start saving till later in the run. But then when I realized I could, save it long and seeing how long the pit stops were, I just compared that first stop to Mikey and saw that, he did catch me, but when I pit, it was only a 20-second gain, and those other guys were further back. So I knew that if I took the one, that offset one of their pit stops, and I'd be able to just push it. And it was a lot of clutch roll and a lot of third gear through a lot of corners to keep the fuel, but it worked out. Had a lap in the tank at the end and managed to steal the P3 away.
Awesome. Excellent job. Excellent execution. Got yourself a podium, man. That's awesome.
Thank you. And managed to beat Jurgen fourth, which sucks for him, but it was close.
All right, Rivers, I know you are new here, so I'm just going to take over for a second. Nathan, anyone you would like to thank? Sponsors, shout-outs, anybody?
Of course, the guys at Circumference Ultimate, teammates out there doing the strategy together. and then also the family watching all the friends on the broadcast. Pretty cool to pull a P3 out, and looking forward to next week.
All right, well, Nathan, congrats on your third place finish tonight. I believe. What's next week? Oh, it's Indianapolis. I believe that's a like a sports paint scheme race, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, congrats on your third place tonight, and I'll see you there.
Thank you, thank you. Looking forward to it. Have a good one, guys.
Thanks, man. You too. Good job.
Well, I don't really want to pull Cameron out of his
I'll
own
pull him in, don't
out of
worry.
his own team chat, but yeah. So
Don't worry, I'll be the bad guy.
yeah, you take over from here.
Yoink. Cam, this is JP, and caught up with you. It was a wild race for you. You expect starting on the pole, you'd actually get to start there, but obviously you had to serve that EOL. Just walk me through your trek through the field and what more you really needed to have a shot at Michael Kruger.
Yeah. Hey JP, feels like it's been a minute since I've talked to you in the booth, but yeah, man, I'm worn out. That was a long 65 laps. Yeah, I obviously goal number one was to win the pole, not even knowing I wasn't gonna start there. Just wanted that ego boost, I guess. But yeah, I mean, my drive through the field went about as best as I could have hoped for. I just got held up by a couple guys and burned my rears off behind him and just really put me back. And then it just tried to do a couple strategy calls to see if it would help, but Mikey just had an insane pace. Like, I felt like I practiced this track so much, and I feel like my road course record speaks for itself, and I don't know how he did that. So, big props to him. Was really hoping we get to battle it out on track tonight, but obviously the penalties affected that. So just gonna try not to get EOL going into Okayama later next season. But yeah, I mean, it could have been a lot worse, I suppose. So happy with the P2.
Yeah, I was just about to bring that up. This has got to be momentum, not just for Indianapolis next week, but going into Okayama a little bit later on in the regular season. So do you think you got a really good chance there, considering the pace that you had here?
I mean, if I can start closer to Mikey, I think I could have a better shot. But yeah, I mean, it's just like all about putting together some good results right now. Like I've missed I think 3 races now this season, and I'm my schedule's more open now, so it feels like now my season is just starting. So try to work my way back up into points, hopefully nab a win, and then get some bonus points heading into the playoffs and go from there. But yeah, definitely looking forward to Okayama, but I feel pretty good about my racecraft right now to where I feel like I can compete just about anywhere. So getting my mojo back is the biggest thing, and dropped some dead weight earlier this week, so now we're full focus to forward.
Yeah, before I get to the shout outs, I just want to say I'm not the reason you finished B2. I didn't pick you to win. Finally, because that's been I know throughout this little bit of drought, it's been kind of my fault because every time you've had a good chance to win, I kind of picked you. But
I appreciate that.
any shout outs you want to give?
Yeah, first of all, I don't know if they're watching, but it's my grandfather's birthday today, so shout out to him, happy birthday. I'm gonna go party with him shortly. So happy birthday, Papa. Shout out to my sponsors, RPS Marketing, first and foremost. C2 Graphics, Grid Network, Molecular Massage Therapy, Left Coast Revivals, GCTV, you guys for broadcasting. Shout out to everyone for showing up. I know it's kind of like it was a little bit of a weird track for most, so I appreciate those who did show up. And yeah, just looking forward to Indy next week. So go from there.
Congrats on the P2, and good luck next week.
Thanks.
And I believe our own Ryan Bogey has caught up with race winner Michael Kruger.
Hey Kruger, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Ryan.
All right, well, Michael, you went out there and absolutely dominated the field tonight here at I lost my track of thought of what this track name is, but you went out there and dominated the field. How do you feel about your first win of the season?
Feels like I have a weight lifted off my shoulders. Not have to think about pointing my way into the playoffs. Feels like a huge relief. I mean, it's just, it's tremendous. I haven't. It's been a little while since I've managed to get back into victory lane, but it feels so good to win nonetheless. I mean, I've had some close calls this season, not too many, but it feels so good to finally put one together and put it in victory lane tonight here at the Big O in Germany.
And Cameron Caldwell mentioned he practiced a lot for this race, so I'm gonna bring it over to you and ask you, how much did you practice these last 2 weeks at this racetrack?
I mean, past few days, I'd say I practiced a pretty good bit solo by myself. I mean, because I knew today I wouldn't have as much practice as I had beforehand. I would earlier in the week, so I just kind of grinded the past 2 to 3 days really than I really had previously. Had just really dug in and just put a lot of work in. I'd say last night or yesterday I put at least like maybe 2 to 3 hours, I think, of just prepping for this. I mean, I just kind of was kind of behind on pace compared to some guys. I just kind of knew I had to really work hard to be able to find those little tints that some of the guys like Cam and like even Kassane were able to get ahead of me, or some of my competitors. I knew I had to dig in because I didn't feel too great about this place coming in until I really practiced super hard the 2 nights leading up to tonight.
All right, well, last season Tristan Macher won by 27 seconds. I believe you won about 32, 34 seconds tonight. So just like I said, a dominating performance by you. And any sponsors, shout out friends you want to shout out real quickly here?
I've just firstly got to thank everyone back at Chicano Motorsports with PBR Manufacturing for having me a part of this great team. I got to thank Alonso for just keeping me here on his team and finally putting a win together for this team. And got to thank Josh Coppernoll as well, co-owner, and my teammates as well that came tonight. Or at least my teammates from my team, Tristan Maher and Zach Probst. I gotta thank those guys. I gotta thank my mom and dad for watching this. They're kind of not really watching this because they're watching a football game right now, and they kind of hadn't been able to have the opportunity to watch my race. But I want to shout them out for supporting me, and just also you guys for broadcasting this tonight. And I'm pretty sure it was a great show to watch from the broadcast booth.
All right, Michael. Well, thank you for your time. Congrats on your win tonight. Next week, we head to Indianapolis, and I'm sure I'll see you there.
I hope so. Thank you so much, guys.
Have a good one, Michael.
Roll Tide.
And that's going to do it. So we're going to head on down to Rivers Jones first. And Rivers, how was your experience up here in the booth?
I really liked it. It was a whole lot of fun. Nice being able to be up here talking. I know it wasn't the circumstances which I wanted to do it in, but it was really fun commentating up here with you guys. I'd definitely like to do it again. Really fun.
All right, and now Jonathan Parker, how did you think about that race we just watched?
I was honestly pretty intrigued to see how tough this track was on the drivers. I thought it would be a pretty straightforward race, but there were quite a lot of mistakes. Even our winner, Michael Kruger, ended up making a mistake pretty early on, made up for it, and then some. But it's just very intriguing to see how tough this track really was, and to see that the preparation for the people who did prepare, it paid off for those guys, and it's good to see that. And it's good to see Michael Kruger get back into victory lane as he said it has been a while. So those are really my takeaways from it.
Yeah, and I completely agree with you. We saw a few drivers make minimum mistakes, and then we saw a lot of other drivers make a lot of mistakes in the back, causing some drive-throughs, and especially that one corner, I believe, turn 2, the one where you exit pit road. That was just a huge trouble spot for a lot of these guys. But yeah, that's gonna do it for tonight's race. Thank you all for coming out here and watching it. Next week we head to, or I guess we'll go through the whole JCTV week here. I believe it's just really slide job on Tuesday at Darlington, and then we head back here next Saturday for Indianapolis. I believe that's the only 2 leagues we got going on right now, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, tune into both of those Tuesday at 9 o'clock for SJRL slide job, and then next Saturday for this league at 8 o'clock for Indianapolis. So yeah, thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you guys next broadcast.